Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of this series called Lessons Learned from whatever I'm going to talk about. So it's Lessons Learned from space blank ... Mainly it's going to appear like I'm talking just about movies most of the time, and until I find other sources of lessons learned from, it's going to be movies, but it's not exclusively for movies, films. It might be books, but not like the books that I'm going to go over, but more like fictional stories. The idea that I'm hoping for is to gain motivation and lessons and interpretations from popular culture kind of things, or other like music, certain songs, things to talk about on a more casual note, but there's still something to gain from it, some value to take from it. Sometimes the lessons are obvious and in your face, and sometimes I dig a little deep into underlying things that I'm interpreting from that story at the time that I'm watching it, or whatever, consuming the media, whatever form of media it is. And so this is my effort to, sometimes you may look at one of these pieces and be like, oh, I never thought of it that way. So on an opposite note, I'm going to go for a very obvious one for the first time, because I've referenced it a few times. I'm going to start with Rocky 1. Now, I could do all the Rockies, but I feel like each one has its own message to deliver. And so the first 5, maybe 7, I don't know if I'm going to do the extra 2. I might. But the first 5 at least are going to be, so today Rocky 1, and then next few weeks are going to be each installment, and the specific lesson from each one. Alright, if you've never watched any of the content that I'm going to talk about, you can still watch this video and maybe you'll be inspired to watch whatever I'm talking about after. So Rocky 1, if you haven't watched it, spoiler alerts. I'm not going to get into the plot too much. That's not the point. It's more about the lesson. But simply put, Rocky is an average man from Philadelphia, played by Sylvester Stallone. And he boxes casually, from what I remember. I haven't watched it recently. But he boxes casually, makes a little bit of money from that. He also collects money for like criminal or like loan sharks and things like that. So he has to occasionally rough people up to do it. He doesn't seem like he's very happy at where he is at in life, but he doesn't really express that he wants something more. He's just kind of going with the motions of his life. And he has a demeanor in the movie where he's like, it's like a somber, like, yeah, whatever, kind of like demeanor. I believe he's in his character, Rocky Balboa, is probably in his 30s, early 30s, or close to being 30. I don't remember. But I do feel like he was past his prime, like, past his, like, where he could have, as a boxer, where it would have been more likely that he could have made a career out of it, if I'm not mistaken. So, out of nowhere, the champion Apollo Creed comes around and he's like, I wanna show that I give the underdog a chance. And then he goes through whatever, and he finds Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion, that caught his eye. So he said, oh, I'll give him a chance, local Philadelphia guy. I'll give him a chance, and I'll make a spectacle out of it to make, like, it's a promotional event. So the challenge happens, and then, long story short, it's a transformation for Mr. Rocky Balboa, because he's got to do things that he didn't think were ever going to happen to him. He's given a chance now. This is like, he got, basically, I don't say, yeah, you know what, he got lucky, but something about him attracted Apollo Creed, the character, the champion, to challenge him. Okay? He lives a humble life. He thinks like, this is where I'm at for the rest of my life, and whether I'm okay with it or not, I'll just accept it. And whatever, it's fine. And he doesn't really seem like he's striving for something. There's a love story too on the side, but it doesn't really, I guess he gets more motivated because of Adrian, but it has nothing really to do with the ambitious. I don't know. But anyway, so but what the real lesson from the movie is he went from kind of doubting himself and like, why am I even going to bother? I'm too old for this and waste my time, to his trainer Mick inspiring him to at least give it your best effort and see how you measure up to the quote-unquote champion of the world of whatever. I think it was heavyweight champion of the world of boxing. So the lesson to take from that is test your limits. So if it's like literally a head-to-head thing and you know the person outclasses you, take that as a reference point. Like if you're, I don't know, if it's a sport, an individual sport, let's say it's tennis, and you know the opponent is out far better than you. Don't think, I'm not even going to try playing against that guy or girl because they're way better than me. They're going to beat me anyway. Use that as, let me see how much of a challenge I can pose to this person. That's what the going the distance is. So Rocky in the movie didn't actually get knocked out. He lasted the full length of the match. And then, by cliche of movie writing, he didn't win, so that there could be a sequel. He didn't win, but he won. That was still a victory for him. He didn't officially win, but the crowd felt he won. He felt he won because he lasted that like the full length of the match. He didn't get knocked out by the best boxer in the world, Apollo Creed, in the story. And he tested his limits. And he realized, okay, if I can do that, imagine if I actually prepared for this. Okay? The next Rocky movie kind of touches on that, but there's a lot of emotional things in Rocky 2, and I'm not going to talk about that right now. That was Rocky 1. The lesson is test your limits, go the distance in whatever you do. Don't doubt yourself. It doesn't have to be me against you or you against someone else or whatever. It can be you against yourself, or you thinking that you think that that's your limit, but really you can actually go higher than that. That's the overall message of Rocky 1, in my opinion. And yeah, so the takeaway from that is, in your life, in your quest of success, choose something about it, something, an action, an act, a skill, whatever you need to do. And if there's a limit that you think you have on that, or if you think you can't do it, try and see, and then try to push that limit. If you're an athlete, then find an opponent that you know outclasses you, and try to see where you measure up to them. And that's not in a sense of comparing your skill levels. It's to just see, this is where I'm at, and let me see where I can go. And you never know, you're gonna most likely surprise yourself. So that's all, guys. Let's keep growing together. Go Stallion. And I'll see you next time. Take care.